Here we are with this weekend's Premier League predictions. Firstly, we're going to start with Manchester City against Burnley. Manchester City play some excellent football. My dog is barking, I'll just shut the window. Manchester City, as I said, play some fantastic football. They could score as many as they want. They don't lose many games at home, and they've got so many good players. I don't see Burnley getting anything from this game. In actual fact, it's going to be a very long afternoon for Burnley, a lot of huffing and puffing, and the best that they could hope for is somehow defend for your life and try and get a draw. But it's a Manchester City win for me, and I'm going to go Manchester City 3, Burnley nil. On to tomorrow lunchtime's game, Chelsea against Manchester United. Chelsea are unbeaten. I think they're dark horses for the title. Sarri has got Chelsea playing much better football. It's much more entertaining and exciting to watch, and much more attacking. But I still think they're a little bit shaky at the back, and you can get at them. And they're a little bit over reliant on Eden Hazard. But he is in the form of his life. Manchester United have to stop him. They're going to have to put 2 or 3 players around him every time he gets the ball, because if they don't, he's going to cause huge problems for them tomorrow. United, look, Mourinho hasn't won on any of his previous visits since leaving Chelsea the second time. And United actually haven't won there in their last 6 attempts. I think it goes back to since Alex Ferguson retired. So Chelsea have a very good record against United at Stamford Bridge. I think the last game Manchester United played at Newcastle was a wake-up call, because if they play like they did in the first half at Stamford Bridge, they will get annihilated and there will be no way back. They will be put out of sight very quickly. But if they play like they did in the second half, which is how they should be playing every week, and if I was a fan, I would be questioning why we haven't seen that at Manchester United every game, because I think that is the pure minimum of how Manchester United should be playing. It just proved that when Manchester United want to play good attacking football, that they can go toe to toe with Chelsea this game, and they do have the players that can hurt Chelsea. I think Mourinho won't want to lose to Chelsea. His position as manager is still under threat, and the last team he would want to lose his job to is Chelsea, and he certainly won't want to be embarrassed. So, and let's not forget, he knows a lot of these Chelsea players, so he will know how to play against them. I'm going for a draw. I think it will be Chelsea 1, Manchester United 1. Bournemouth against Southampton, a bit of a South Coast derby. Bournemouth, I'm a big admirer of the way Bournemouth play football, and I'm a massive admirer of Eddie Howe as a manager. Bournemouth will just approach this game with, when they have the ball, it will be attack, 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 attack. They will just be going to create chances and score goals. It will leave them open to the counter attack, which is the way I think Mark Hughes and Southampton will play tomorrow. But I think Southampton have a threat in Danny Ings, and obviously if Austin or Gabbiadini play, they can score goals. But I think King and Wilson are 2 very underrated strikers in the Premier League, and I just do not rate Southampton at the moment. I'm not sure what direction they're going in. Bournemouth are 5th. They're having a great season so far, and I think it will continue this Saturday. And I'm going to go for a Bournemouth win. Bournemouth 3, Southampton 1. Cardiff against Fulham, 2 of the newly promoted teams. This is a must-win game really for either side. Cardiff, I just don't think have the quality to be in the Premier League. I think they will try, they will give it their best. I think Neil Warnock will try and ruff a few feathers, because he hasn't got the players to play an open style of football, and he's got to do anything he can to try and get a result. Fulham, I do think, have a better squad. I think they do have better players. They have some very good young talented players, and I think they do try and play some very good football, and it is nice to watch. I just think Fulham need to learn when to defend and when to attack at the right time. You can't just attack, because a side like Fulham will just leave themselves too open. But I do think Fulham will get the away win tomorrow, and I'm going to go Cardiff 1, Fulham 2. Newcastle against Brighton. This was my hardest one to predict. I like both clubs. But I think Newcastle are stuck in a real rut at the moment. There's a lot of negativity around the club, which is understandable with Mike Ashley. And I think there's a lot of frustration from Rafa Benitez as well, which is also understandable. Brighton, I always think are competitive. I think Chris Hughton would want to get one over on Mike Ashley after he got harshly sacked from there quite a few years ago now. But I think the difference in this game is that Newcastle don't have a proper goal scorer, and I think Brighton have a goal scorer in Glenn Murray. So I think Brighton will go there and upset the apple cart again, and it's going to be more negative activity around Newcastle again. I just think it will be a Brighton win, so I'm going to go Newcastle 0, Brighton 1. West Ham Tottenham London derby. I think West Ham have a better record. I think they always up their game for this match against Tottenham. Tottenham have made a good start to the season, but I just think West Ham will do it, and I'm going to go West Ham 2, Tottenham 1. Wolves against Watford. I've been impressed with both sides, to be fair, this season, but especially with Wolves. I think they're in 8th position. They've only lost one game. I think, they've got some real quality players and they've got a good manager. And I think some of the higher clubs in the Premier League might just be looking at these players and manager in January. Wolves are so good without the ball, very solid and compact defensively, but when they go on the counter-attack, they play some really good football and they've got some quality players that will score goals. Watford, the first 4 games of the season was fantastic, but they've gone on a little blip since then. And I just see Wolves getting another win. I think it will be Wolves 2, Watford 0. Going into the Saturday tea time game, Huddersfield against Liverpool. I think Liverpool could be missing Mane, Salah and someone else in this game, but I still think Liverpool have the quality to go there and get the win. Huddersfield, they're lacking goals, and if you don't score goals at this level, you're going to struggle. I think it's going to be a long, hard, difficult season for Huddersfield. I just think with the way Liverpool play, I think they get a comfortable win. I think it's going to be Huddersfield 0, Liverpool 4. The Sunday game is Everton against Crystal Palace. Again, Everton remind me a bit like Chelsea at the moment. They're playing some really good football going forward. I think Walcott's playing well. Richarlison, I think, is a very good player and he's scoring goals. I still think Everton look a little bit shaky at the back. And I think you can get to them on set pieces. They're zonal marking on set pieces and they're struggling with that. Whether Everton will start man marking, who knows? But I think Goodison Park is always a tough place to go, and that is where Everton will get most of their points this season. Crystal Palace, I like Crystal Palace as a club. I just think, Benteke's not scoring and nobody else is really scoring. And they're relying too much on Wilf Zaha, and you can't just rely on one player. You need other players to contribute as well. And I think Everton will win. So I'm going to go Everton 3, Crystal Palace 1. Going to Monday night, Arsenal against Leicester. I actually think this will be one of the best games of the weekend. I think Arsenal have won 9 in a row in all competitions. They're in fantastic form. I always think that they play good football going forward. They score goals, but they still, I think, they overplay it at times at the back and they cause problems for themselves. And I think Leicester do have that quality to hit them on the counter-attack and get a couple of goals. But I do think Arsenal will win, so I'm going to go Arsenal 3, Leicester City 2. So they are my Premier League predictions this weekend. Leave your comments about the predictions. Maybe you have some predictions you would like to share. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll come back on tomorrow about 5 o'clock after the afternoon's fixtures, just for a 5 or 10 minute reaction after full time to give you my first thoughts on the afternoon's football. But let's hope it's a great weekend of football. Let's hope we see some good games, and thank you for watching, guys. Cheers.